Good morning, everyone. This is Dust on Gaming, both here on Twitch and on YouTube, doing some more testing of Skewer the Critics in Modern Burn. First video was pretty successful here on YouTube. Still testing out the different builds of Boros to see what exactly are good numbers of Skewer the Critics and some of the other cards. Kind of consensus we settled on for right now is 2 Skullcrack, 2 Skewer, move the other Skullcracks to the sideboard. 4 of Skewer could be good. One interaction I missed during the last set of videos was an opponent cracking a fetch land during our turn, enables Spectacle, so that is an interesting interaction everybody should be aware of. Something I wasn't thinking of during the stream itself. So that is something to consider. And beyond that, let's hop into some games. This is basically your basic Boros list that we've been running for quite a while on the channel. Friendly reminder, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing here on YouTube and on Twitch, giving us a follow. So, Boros Burn. Host a new match here. So obviously this is a deck we've played quite a bit. A little bit trying to figure out what slots to put Skewer the Critics in, which is a bit tricky. It's a card that's very powerful, but Modern Burn almost is getting to the point where it almost has too many tools to work with. Especially in the Boros colors, like you have to fit around the cards like Helix and Boros Charm. Other combination of cards like, or other combination of colors like Rakdos or Mono Red, there's a little bit more. What's up, War Dog? How you doing? Other colors like Rakdos or Mono Red, there are some better rooms for a card that's just one casting cost Lightning Bolt effectively. Don't think we can keep this hand. This hand's terrible as well. This hand's pretty effective for a 2 of here. Or mulligan to 5 anyway. So it looks like we're up against mono or blue-red thing in the ice here. Blue-red Phoenix, however you want to call it. Opponent's going to drop the thing into play. This is an interesting turn. Attack with Goblin God, see if they block here. They do not. It's 2 free damage because we really didn't have anything to answer it. Lightning Bolt. So how have you been doing this weekend, War Dog? Did you get snowed in? Opponent hit an Arc Light Phoenix there, which kind of sucks. Well, that was all during their draw step. Apparently they don't have a third spell to follow up, which is lucky for us. Alright, so if an opponent can't kill us this turn cycle, they're likely dead. What's up, Hanzo? How are you doing this morning? How are things at in your neck of the woods? A little bit early of a stream for me, but this is gonna be the norm here on my days off of work. Going to try to do some more stuff on my days off, and then because a lot of my days during the week and such, I'm kind of struggling with work and such to find consistent streaming time. So I think I'm going to be streaming a lot on my days off, and then am I going to get Is It Charmed here? Nope. Alright. So our opponent's probably dead then. Is that a good game? Opponent's trying, at least. Yeah. We're going to be trying some different configurations here, trying to... Okay. Opponent's going to successfully flip their thing. Why wouldn't they do this during their turn, though? Oh, it just concedes the match. Alright. That didn't really teach us anything about Skewer the Critics, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix matchup's reasonable, but a little bit weird sometimes. Like, I feel the post-board games can be pretty rough. The main deck game there, I mean, we mulligan to 5 and 1 fairly easily. This hand's a little... I think this is a mulligan. We just have too many... I guess we'll keep this one with a scry. Alright, found our second land. Found our second land. Suspend a Riftbolt pass. So, possibly rock. This is where we might regret taking out those Direfleet Daredevils in the sideboard. Yep, opponent's got a Grim Flare. Question is, do I use the Riftbolt on them, or do I use the Lightning Helix on them? I think we'll just pass. I really don't want my opponent setting up their draws, but at the same time, like, burning their creatures is a bit of a problem. So... 12. I'm just doing the math here. 12, and then 5, and then 2. Are we racing them this way? I think I'm just going to get rid of this Grim Flare here. Yep, going to get Lily on it, which means would have been harder to hold on to these resources anyway. And this is why rock is such a pain in the hind end of a matchup. Rock can definitely be a rough matchup. Ew. So we're up against black-green Pox, of all things. Alright, so... Trying to think... They have a weird configuration. Grimflare, which probably also means Tarmogoyf. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some tireless trackers floating around in there. Some combination of Balos might be in the sideboard. So I'm probably interested in a couple copies of Skullcrack coming in. Searing Blaze probably isn't great. I'll leave a couple in case they have like a Scavenging Ooze or something. And can tag Grimflare. Firecraft over Searing Blaze might be reasonable, but they're attacking all of our resources, so I don't know that we want to... Yeah, that's true, War Dog. That's why we were testing Direfleet Daredevil there for a while here on the channel. So, but you know that. Some of the other viewers might not, but yeah, we were testing Direfleet Daredevil before Skewer the Critics came out, just to have a better matchup against some of the mid-range decks, against like Rock, against like Jeskai, against the Burn Mirror. It's performed pretty solid, but kind of hard to fit that in and still have all the room for Skewer the Critics. So I'm saying Skewer the Critics is it's a good card, but it's like, where does it fit into this archetype? It's not exactly the easiest card to try to fit in. I was listening to Andrew Day 2 Dryden over on Nikachu, and even he was saying he's not like really sure where this card fits into the deck. Like, he thinks it's a good card, and much like I do, I think it's a good card, but it's like, how do you fit in this card into how do you fit it into the archetype? Alright, let's get moving. So how's everyone doing this morning? Hope everyone's having a great day, both on Twitch and YouTube. So I'm simulcasting via a stream service called Restream.io. Allows me to broadcast to my Twitch channel while growing my Twitch channel while also doing my YouTube channel, which YouTube has been my primary streaming platform for a while now. We do quite a bit of burn content here on the channel. We also do quite a bit of other modern stuff. Blue-White Control, Jeskai Control, Miracles. We play some Arclight Phoenix decks. We play Grixis Shadow, Jundess Shadow, Blue Moon. Those are kind of the big archetypes. We're about to get Smallpox and Hate Our Lives. Oh, Collective Brutality, even worse. So, guessing they'll take Skullcrack here. I guess Bolt's more efficient. Now we only get to do one or the other. One annoying thing about the interaction with Urborg here is just... like in pushing your Goyf. I like to push as the Goyf. Waiting on our opponent here. Makes me wonder if they have a lot of thought process here to do. They were thinking about shocking themselves for what, a Liliana here? I mean, I guess Liliana is fine. It's not the most effective play here right now. Probably should have just done this after the Eidolon here. Taking 2 extra damage for no apparent reason. And do you have a Fatal Push too? We do not. That is a positive for us. So unless they have another Collective Brutality here, they're just dead on our upkeep. So... do you have a way to gain life? You do not. Alright. So after this game, we're going to switch and put more Skewer the Critics back in the deck. The whole point of this exercise this morning and a couple days ago is to test Skewer the Critics. And frankly, when we're only playing 2 copies of the card, we really can't test how good it is. So, as much as I think 2 might be the correct number for right now, and Brian on the channel, Brian Brown also on the channel, also thought it was the correct number, we need to have more in the deck to test the actual effectiveness of the card. So, those of you who are wondering why I'm doing practice rooms instead of a league, I'm switching up numbers. I'm trying to test different configurations. I want to see, like, what cards getting shuffled around. And actually running into a rock-based deck was pretty awesome for us, because that means we can effectively test what's going on. The loss of Dire Fleet Daredevil, which was a direct result of our sideboard getting jostled around to try to combat Dredge, and we were losing a lot to Dredge and Rock. I am about to get smallpox, aren't I? Nope. Another Collective Brutality. So it looks like they're green-black, Loam with like Pack Rat. Looks like they have Pack Rat, Grimflayer, Raven's Crime, Life from the Loam, multiple Collective Brutalities. They are definitely prepared for burn. That is for sure. So, hope everybody's having a great day. If you're here in the Midwest, the U.S., like I am, definitely a lot of snow the last couple days. I think we just pass here. We really don't have any other plays. Probably should have played the fetch land just in case they play something we can Searing Blaze here. Nope, they're just casting Life from the Loam. And they're going to start Raven's Cramming us out of the game. We're not going to have a hand for much longer, so... gotta start emptying our hand, because otherwise we won't have one. Bajuka Bog, sure. Was that the only land they had in their graveyard? I thought they had more than one. Why would you play the tap land and not start Raven's Crowning us? These Searing Blazes definitely should not be in our deck. Gonna hold on to this in case Well, that's good, Hanzo. Well, it's weird. It's been a really weird winter, because, like, most of the winter here in the Midwest U.S. has been very, very quiet. Like, not a lot of snow. It's been kind of mild all winter. And then Kalitas. Well, that's a rough one. I don't even know if I want to play Eidolon out here. Let's hold up Skullcrack. Yeah, well, and to be fair, emptying our hand is pretty valuable. Especially since he knew we had the Searing Blaze. Alrighty then. Okay. And that's GG's. Just can't compete with that when we have no hand. Alright, back to the drawing board here. So, I'm going to shave a Helix and a Blaze, get the other two Skewer the Critics in the deck. Once again, this is not very scientific, but I do just want to see more copies of Skewer the Critics. That's what we're here to see. See if the deck is effective, see how it's doing. With Skewer the Critics, the flip side is, like, playing more burn spells does limit the sideboard cards you can play. Like we were playing, in my old build I was playing 3 copies of Rest in Peace, 2 copies of either Searing Blood or Anger of the Gods as hedges against Dredge. And then I was playing Direfleet, a couple copies of Direfleet Daredevil as a concession to the rock decks and Jund decks that were giving us a bit of issue, and the grindy decks, being able to 2-for-1 your opponent with a card from their own graveyard. Quite often they have cards that can kill their own Tarmogoyfs or their own Death Shadows. Actually, Death Shadow really wasn't the problem, it was just rock, period. So, that was something to keep in mind. We are giving that up to run the Skewer the Critics. A lot of people are going to the game of cutting Skullcrack, which is fine, but if you have Jeskai control in your meta, or if you have humans, or if you have you know, decks like Hardened Scales or KCI, sometimes, well, not necessarily KCI, but like some of the other stuff, it's like, well, do you really want to... So basically our hand's just all lava spikes this game. Skewer the Critics looking pretty darn good there. That's definitely another discussion, is people were talking about cutting Riftbolt to get Skewer the Critics in, but Skewer the Critics and Riftbolt are such a good combo. Are we up against Death Shadow? Yeah, it looks like we're up against Death Shadow. Whoopsie! I think we just like turbo enabled their. Oh no. Okay, I'm not really sure what's going on over there then. Opponent's Esper of some kind? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Force them to react to this Swift Spear here. Is my opponent also playing the card Terminus in their Esper deck? That would be entertaining. Yeah, I know it's a control deck. I'm just like... The opt also suggests it might be a Terminus build. Looked like they were hitting for Terminus there. Huh. Interesting. So, let's get these Blazes out of our deck. Definitely want the other 2 Skullcracks. 2 Firecrafts. And... I still have 4 Lightning Helixes in my deck. Did I register 61 cards? I think I registered 61 cards instead of cutting the other Lightning Helix. Yeah, Esper Control is certainly an interesting thing to test against. I haven't seen much Esper Control in a while. It all depends, Landon, it all depends on your, the meta. Like, that was, like, in the discussion I've had on the channel so far, it's all, the card, I think the card you're cutting for Skewer is all meta dependent. Like, if your meta is, oh yeah, here it's definitely underwhelming. I was gonna cut 2, but I already cut 3 Searing Blazes, so. I have 61 cards in my deck, so it was like the three Blazes and 1 Helix. So I meant to cut an extra Helix to get that second Skewer into the deck, or the 3rd and 4th Skewer. I meant to cut a Searing Blaze and a Helix when we were doing the deck change around before this match. So now this is interesting. We know our opponent has Path to Exile here. So I have 2 lines of play here. I can play Swift Spear, Lava Spike, or I can just play Eidolon either pre or post combat. If we play Eidolon pre-combat, it incentivizes them to path the Eidolon. So we're getting in 2 damage there. The max we're getting in this turn's 5, because they're definitely pathing one of these 2 creatures. So the question is do I value Eidolon sitting in play, or do I value getting in more immediate damage? I think I'm going to play the Eidolon and force their hand here, just because it also forces them to decide if they want to kill Goblin God before the Centaur's play here. Oh, okay, they can just have Mana Leak, sure. So Goblin God still gets in for some free damage. I'm just not used to playing against Mana Leak out of control decks, which maybe is foolish. Like, personally, in the Just Guy and Blue Moon lists I play Opt in both. But I don't really play Mana Leak. I play Remand in Blue Moon, and I play, actually, I think we resolve Boros Charm here. If we were to do these 2 spells, it would incentivize them to kill Swift Spear. Which they may still do anyway, because Goblin God's potentially giving them lands. Yeah. Seems to be the default play is to kill Swift Spear over Goblin God. we're out mana-ing our control opponent, which can be relevant here. So one of the dangers of playing Path to Exile as your primary removal spell is accelerating your opponent is very, very dangerous. That said, we continue to draw lands as the burn deck. It's a little less threatening. Opponent with a cryptic command, sure. Really do need this Goblin Guide to connect one or two more times the way we're drawing currently. Wow. Alright. Our opponent to 4, and a Firecraft off the top is lethal through any amount of counter spells. Otherwise, we might be playing Draw-Go here for a while. This fetch land's now basically dead, because we have the 3rd Sacred Foundry in our hand, and our opponent's probably going to Field of Ruin us at some point. So... opponent now has their mana for Cryptic Command up. That's a fetch land they may never be able to crack. Please don't have Vendilion click. Let me go to my main phase, please. Oh, sure. Oh, good old Exquisite Firecraft. Such a glorious card when it connects. Alright, anyways. Let's cut that Lightning Helix, get back down to 60 cards. So I want to say thank you for everyone hanging out this morning, both on Twitch and here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please consider giving us a follow here on Twitch. We play a lot of Burn, play a lot of modern stuff. Play Burn, we play Miracles, we play Arclight Phoenix, we play Death Shadow variants. Definitely play some random deck lists sometimes when I find them interesting. Play some Standard on Arena and a little bit here on Magic Online. Go ahead and give us a follow on YouTube, a subscription on YouTube. We have a lot of our stuff archived. So if you like Burn, we have a lot of Burn on there. It's probably my primary deck in Modern most of the time. Is our opponent going to miss a land drop, or are they going to do the second main phase BS? Nope, they're just going to do the second main phase BS. Alright, so we're up against Amulet. This is another matchup where we're going to miss having Skullcrack in the main, or the additional copies of Skullcrack in the main. Hey! Might be a future ban card here. So, those of you that don't know, Wizards of the Coast's BNR announcement is today, and historically speaking, the late January, early February one is the one in which they tend to do a lot of their big announcements. Like that's the one they brought back Jace and Bloodbraid Elf last year. It's also the one where they banned, I believe it's the same time slot they banned Twin and Summer Bloom. There's been a few other big ones. Alright, so our playline here, there are two different playlines we can take here. We can take Goblin Guide Attack into this chump block, hold up Searing Blaze for Azusa. We can play Swift Spear, Attack, hold up Bolt for Azusa. Or we can just go Swift Spear, Bolt the plant, get in for damage. It's really hard to say which one is the most difficult. We are behind because we're on the draw. So I think I'm going to go for Goblin Guide, hold up Searing Blaze here. In worst case scenario, we just Lightning Helix their face at the end of turn. This is giving up damage for the ability to play around. There we go. Rewarded. So one of the few tricky things with Burn is learning to play around the few cards that actually are relevant in matchups, and a lot of that is just experience in particular matchups. Swift Spear here, I'm going to bolt the Scout. They could still Titan us next turn, even through all this, so... Actually, I should probably just suspend Rift Bolt for mana efficiency this turn. Missing out on a point of damage here. Kabira Crossroads kind of sucks. Not really much we can do to play around that right now. So they are the white splash, which means Path to Exile out of the sideboard, which isn't too terribly relevant against us. Yeah, it looks like we're getting tightened here. Actually, they have Kabira Crossroads in hand. So they may not even be able to get life gain here. Of course, I don't know that we can kill them through an active Titan anyway. Particularly one with Vigilance. And they can't double strike us this turn. So we're going to take 8, go to 8. And then... do we have enough to kill them on the backswing? I think we might just have just enough to kill them on the backswing. I mean, if they have Pact of Negation here, then we're just toast anyway, so kind of got to go for it. So the fact that they drew that Kabira Crossroads actually saved us that game. For those of you that aren't familiar with Kabira Crossroads is their equivalent of Radiant Fountain in that build. They play Kabira Crossroads as opposed to Radiant Fountain because they wanted a higher white mana density for cards like Path to Exile against some of the bigger threats like Delve threats, Death Shadows and stuff. It's a recent innovation within the Amulet Titan community. Alright, so we have a couple different paths we can go here. We can... obviously the Skullcracks are coming in. But beyond that, we can bring in the Firecrafts to try to play around Pact of Negation, but that's kind of too cute. We can try to bring in Path to Exile to fight through their Obstinate Balos and their Titans once they're resolved. Once again, that can be a little bit of a losing battle. The Blaze effects are surprisingly relevant against them, because they usually play 5 to 6 versions of Sakura Tribe Scout and Sky Shroud Ranger, and then they play Azusa, and then a lot of the versions are currently playing Trinket Mage for additional copies of Amulet. So the Blaze effects are surprisingly relevant against a deck that shouldn't have that many reasonable targets. I think we're just going to go like this, especially on the draw. We're going to be too far behind to try to leverage Path to kill them for lethal here. So if we were on the play, I'd probably be more incentivized to bring in Path to try to clear out their blockers. Because like a play of turn 3 obstinate Baloth on the play or on the draw for them. You know, path, get in for lethal. So, alright, they have... I understand technically playing second main phase is correct, but sometimes it's extremely annoying. It's like, oh, my opponent's going to play nothing, and oh no, they're just going to their second main phase. Alright, so our opponent could have a turn to Azusa here, which is pretty rough. Nope. So that tends to lead me to believe my opponent doesn't have a... that my opponent doesn't have an Azusa in hand. There's an Ancient Stirrings. So I can hold up Bolt here for Azusa, or I can play one of my Rift Bolts. I think we need to leverage damage right now more than stop Azusa. I think they would have played Azusa last turn if they had it. Because we know they have the Growth Chamber in play, so they are in their hands. So they would have had the ability to Azusa last turn. Off the Forest Simic Chamber, play... oh well. Well, we're losing all of our 1-drops here. That kind of sucks. I wonder... are they going to... yep, it looks like they're screwing up. So, here's a little TLDR against Burn. If you're playing against a Boros Burn opponent, you need to main phase this crap. Engineered Explosives, when I have a Boros Charm in the hand, going to be a blowout. It's certainly a... certainly an interesting path, Joshua. I think, oh, the Greed opponent. The Greed is going to kill you unless you have Pact here. The Greed is going to kill you. Say hello to my Boros Charm friend. But it certainly might be a faster version. Blasting Station? Okay. Opponent's playing some weird cards in their list. I think I just hold up Skullcrack here. I'll talk about Rakdos here in a minute, Joshua, as soon as this match is over, because I have a feeling this match is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So even if they can prime time here, or Glenalandra. Wow, opponent's going deep. Opponent's also very dead. Alright, probably bouncing Colony Garden here. Let's skewer them for style points. Well, that was fun. Alright. Rakdos burn. So something like this, Joshua. It's playing Bump, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, Rift Bolt, Skewer the Critics, and then Searing Blaze. The only consideration for that particular deck build is you need to make sure you have enough answers to creatures in the form of Lavamancer, Searing Blaze, and your other bolt effects to be able to leverage Shard Volley, Rift Bolt, Skew the Net, Bump the Knight, Light at the Stage, Gut Shot, Guide, Swift Spear. Could be reasonable. My only thought process with that is if your Swift Spear or your Goblin Guide doesn't stick, then you might actually run out of gas before you can kill your opponent. Not a huge fan of Gut Shot, and not a huge fan of Shard Volley personally, although I'd be willing to test the list. I just don't think... it probably makes your busted draws better, but it's probably... probably makes your busted draws better, but your mediocre draws worse, if that makes sense. Like, it probably enables more turn 3 kills, but it probably means you run out of gas more often than you can kill your opponent. Or more often than you would kill your opponent. So it gives you a faster kill your opponent draw, but a worse worse fail rate at killing your opponent before you're in top deck mode. I think so far, Jan. It's been pretty reasonable in testing so far. Play one more match with the current configuration. So this hand will run out of gas before we can do anything because the 4. I think we top Skullcrack here. No, he hasn't yet, Space Marine. Light up the stage might be worth it. My thing is if you're gonna go out of your way to play just main phasing this. If you're gonna go out of your way to play cards like Light Up the Stage, why not go with just gonna jam Idol on here. It's probably gonna get countered, but oh, it doesn't. Okay. I don't think he's planning on the leagues in which you have the option to play friendly leagues are 8 tickets, and you can keep a higher percentage of what you have going on. In friendly leagues, you get to keep some percentage of your entry value, even if your Skewer, obviously very good there. Even if you're like you go 1 and 4, you get like 20 play points back. If you go 2 and 3, you get like 40 play points back, so you get half your entry fee. With the competitive leagues, which Legacy is only available in competitive, you can only get your entry fee back if you go 3-2 or better. So that's why the issue. Alright, so control, bring in the skull cracks, bring in the firecrafts, take out these searing blazes. You know, one thing I find funny is, other than our Arclight Phoenix opponent, the very first game we've played, our opponents have been surprisingly willing to play in these practice games. So, how many people here are interested in seeing the... I'm going to pull up the list once this match is done. Interested in seeing that all-in kind of Rakdos list go nuts. So it would take a minute to get the cards, set up the deck list, but it might be interesting to see. Yeah, they're all 12 tickets for competitive. I usually do friendly leagues because I don't like... Well, let's run out Swift Spear. If they're bluffing, fine. If they're not, then we get a free land out of the deal. And we lose our worst of the 2 cards here. Opponent bluffed. Interesting. Why would you bluff with the basic planes there? Hoping I don't play a creature? This is kind of playing into timely reinforcements. That is something we have to consider. It's possible I should have held up Skullcrack here. Yep. Severely punished for not holding up Skullcrack here. Opponent. It's just an island. I think we just let this go. No, our creatures aren't doing terribly much more with them having Path to Exile in hand anyway. Not going to hold on to lands because we don't have Searing Blaze in our deck right now, so holding on to lands serves a little less purpose here. See if we draw out the Path to Exile here. Opponent may very only well have Cryptic Command as their only source of interaction. Agreed, Chain Whirler would be pretty good against Timely. But to be fair, if we'd Skullcrack them, they would be in a lot worse shape here. Gonna say if we'd skull crack them, they'd basically be dead here. We know they have Path to Exile in hand, the minimum, as an interactive tool. And this Teferi genuinely puts us under a clock of a sort. So I'm gonna say the most likely the interaction they'd have there would be Dispel or Spell Snare. Spell Snare is less likely. Dispel would have been more likely. Wow. Hate burn much, opponent? Opponent, where did the burn player hurt you, opponent? Where did the burn player hurt you? Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. Just, wow. Bringing in the Lavamancers, now that we for sure know they're blue-white, they have a lot less ways to answer early creatures than Circle of Protection red. Did you take a look at Hoogland's Bant Flash deck, Jin? So this is where being on the play versus the draw is largely advantageous, is the fact that we get to drop Eidolon before they can timely reinforce us next turn. So play versus draw dynamic is important even in this matchup. Wow. Opponent really doesn't like burn spells. I'm being too aggressive here because of Circle of Protection red. We walked right into timely reinforcements. Or not. Okay. Our opponent's about to learn a very valuable lesson. Skull crack trumps all. GG's, opponent, GG's. So opponent brings in a hate card that absolutely destroys us, and we still beat them because of Skull Crack. Those of you that think Skull Crack is not a necessary part of the modern metagame, do remember people can and will hate burn, and they will bring in life gain cards against you, or damage prevention cards. So sometimes you just need to crack them upside the head and go, bad control player. Anywho, so Skewer the Critics, definitely worth the hype. Figuring out the exact configuration is kind of goofy. I do think like some number of skull cracks, helixes, blazes, Dramoka's Command, that card, so many memories of that card. Used to play Bant Heroics back in Standard. That card was so much fun. Hey, thanks for the follow. I wish I would have clicked on my thing in time here. I'm going to have to wait on Stream Decker to catch up with it. Alright, so Atarka's Command's a different ballgame altogether. Atarka's Command is a different ballgame altogether. Alright, so this is the John Whetstone list that was brought up in chat. Bolt, Shard Volley, Rift Bolt, Lava Spike, Skewer, Bump in the Night, Light Up the Stage, Searing Blaze, Gutshot, Goblin Guide, Swift Spear, bunch of lands. How many people are interested in seeing me play this list right now, or how many people want me to continue playing the Boros list that we're currently working on? So I'll give everyone probably 30 seconds, a minute, because this is going to involve me getting cards from mana traders, so it's going to be a little bit of a hiccup here in the stream itself. But if you're interested in seeing this list, I will play it. If not, if the majority want me to continue playing Boros, then I'll continue playing Boros. Or we can switch over to our own Rakdos list, which is a little more nominal. So give everybody about 30 seconds, a minute to kind of vote on what they want to see. Open to both Twitch and YouTube. Please let me know. So got about 15, 16 people floating around in here combined between the two. So let me know what you want to see. Boros, Rakdos. So one vote for each so far. So happy either way. Thanks for the tie vote there, War Dog. Rakdos. Second vote for Rakdos. Alright, let me start prepping the Rakdos list while you guys are still voting. That way I can at least kind of get a jump start here. That way we're not sitting here twiddling our thumbs too long waiting for the... Move the list over here so you guys can see it. while I'm looking up the cards. Alright, so wish there was a way to import this list, but it doesn't look like there is. Bolt. Shard Volley. Now keeping in mind, personally, I don't like the card either Shard Volley or Gut Shot in a burn deck, but I understand what this deck's trying to do. Lava Spike, Skewer, the Critics, Bump in the Night, ha ha ha. Just chilling, waiting for people to throw Snowstorm to work. As long as it's burn, I don't mind. Yeah, I'm on both. I'm currently streaming on both, Joshua. I'm trying to grow the Twitch family while still streaming to YouTube, which has been my bread and butter for the last year plus. So I'm using a service called Restream.io that allows me to stream to both simultaneously. And there's also this feature that they have that allows both chats to kind of interact with each other. So both people are kind of able to see what's going on. Bump in the Night. We'll try Light Up the Stage. I don't know. Card feels like it might be a little loose here. Searing Blaze. Searing Blaze. Gut Shot. Why is Gut Shot like a dollar card even on Magic Online? That's kind of weird. Notice he's playing the Arclight decks, but man. Black Cleave Cliffs. Only 2 Black Cleave Cliffs seems wrong. It's trying to tell me Blood Crypt is a spell. Good going. Yep, still trying to tell me Blood Crypt is a spell. That was hilarious. Not worrying about the snow-covered mountain nonsense. As awesome as that is. Snow Mountain. 2, 3. Just go for Black Cleave. Yeah, Black Cleave is definitely a... feels like it's right in this low to the ground deck. But the problem is with the fetches, you're like, eh. I think I'll go with 2 mountains. It's a little low against some of the land hate and stuff. But... which can definitely be a real thing. I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of Jeskai and blue-white trying to land screw me into oblivion. Alright, so 2 more fetches and 1 more mountain, I guess. Just drawing a blank on Wooded Foothills for a second. Sideboard, I think I'm going to do Eidolon. Do what? Eidolon, Skullcrack, and... just trying to do a quick sideboard here. Eidolon, Skullcrack. What is the name of the goofy new Rakdos card. The, yeah, I agree it doesn't Foobit, but that's why we're testing it. What is the Rakdos card? Does anyone know what the Rakdos card, the 3-mana enchantment is? I was quite impressed with it in Standard. I don't know that it's correct to play it in Modern. But since we're already going down this rabbit hole... Oh, there we are. Theater of Horrors. That's a card I couldn't think of. Theater of Horrors. That is correct, Midnight. Because the part I didn't realize about Theater of Horrors is Theater of Horrors sticks through the end more than just the end of turn. Like, I'm used to those effects like only lasting until the end of turn. Yeah, let's play some Rakdos Charms just for funsies. The sideboard is hardly, yeah. Let's just, alright. On to, got that. Let's go ahead and trade my cards back in. One of the few downsides of using mana traders is having to switch cards out, but it does give us access to a much higher variety of cards, so can't really complain there. Hope everyone's doing well, enjoying hanging out here. Well, I agree it's a much better card than Outpost Siege, especially in a deck like Burn. And the fact that you get to sit there and accumulate the cards is... It's probably too slow for Modern Midnight, but, I mean, why not try it in this deck that's going to run out of gas so quickly? You know? I mean, we're already trying a bunch of weird cards in a Burn deck, so... That Theater in Standard. Yeah, the Theater in Standard's a bit of a... That's a rough card. I got owned by that card in Best of 1 with Jeskai. That was rough. That was very, very rough. Alright. Deck builder, there we go. Save deck. Rakdos All-In Burn? Guess we could call it. Modern. Save. Export. Save. Add deck. Import. Hopefully it imports correctly. Yes, it did. Sweet. So now we're just waiting on the cards here. Probably only... Well, yeah. I agree. Those will probably be the only matchups we'll bring it in. So, hope everyone's having a great day hanging out there. We're up to 10 viewers on Twitch. That's pretty sweet. I want to thank everyone for hanging out. And to my old YouTube faithful, y'all are awesome. Those of you that are new to me, my name is Dusk, or John in real life. I usually stream Monday and Friday mornings, and a couple times during the evening during the week. I primarily stream Modern. We do some standard content with Arena, and when I have a standard event coming up, or I'm getting into Arena some as I'm grinding on there. But we're primarily a Burn channel. We also play some Blue-White Miracles, Jeskai Miracles, various Shadow decks. We also play some Phoenix lists. Right now, primary focus is testing Skewer the Critics and different burn things. So a lot of things people are interested in. The first couple of videos have been pretty large. I think my stream the other day is up to like 300 some odd views. Had some feedback. There was some feedback on the original post I had on YouTube. If you want to check that out about what cards we should cut in my normal Boros and Rakdos builds for Skewer the Critics. So there's been a lot of positive feedback from the community, and it's been really awesome. It's not too often Burn gets too many tools floating around. So this list is primarily by John Whetstone, shared by Joshua here in chat. The sideboard, we just kind of threw it together. Theater of Horrors. This card's probably garbage in Modern, but it's been pretty solid in Standard from when I've played against it, personally. So, alright, so we're 71% of the way to getting our cards, so should be going here in a minute. So hope everybody's having a great morning, enjoying hanging out, playing some Modern. Where's everyone from? What kind of decks do they like to play? I mean, obviously you like to play Modern and Burn if you're here watching this stuff. So this is a basically all-in Burn deck for We got Gut Shot, we got Bump of the Night, we've got Shard Volley, which, by the way, this is a card I personally hate, just so we're... That's appreciated, Josh. I'll take a look at that when the stream is over here. Support is always appreciated here on the channel, so growing the community is extremely important for the growth of this channel, the growth of every Magic thing. So I think when the game is growing, it's good for everybody. So 87%, we're almost getting there. So turn 1, fetch land, burn spell. Turn 2, fetch land, burn spell, burn spell. So 5 cards in graveyard. So turn 3 under ideal circumstances. Might be worth trying it as a 2 of. Alright, War Dog, don't work too hard, man. I think it would probably be more of a main board card, because you really don't want to be sideboarding in creatures unless they have like a huge impact on the game. Like, the reason Eidolon is a main deck card is because, or a sideboard card, is because there are some matchups where it's actually a KO against, like KCI, Storm, Control can be a real pain for them. I think you want to main deck any other creatures. I know for a while there people were trying Tasigur when Tasigur first came out, but with this version being a little bit more all in, I think a Bedlam Reveler or Zombie Fish-esque card could be pretty reasonable. So we might try it over a couple of these light up the stages if they end up being a little subpar. But I suspect light up the stage will be pretty reasonable in this list. 99%. What card am I missing? Come on. Come on. Thanks for the post, Josh. That's awesome. I tend to not be like, I don't know. Maybe I need to be more promoting of the channel and such. Like, I don't like to go in and go into groups and be like, "Hey, I'm streaming, guys. Come watch me." Maybe I should be more pushy for that kind of stuff. I tend to like be a little more reserved in that kind of stuff. I just like, well, people will find it eventually. It's like, well, maybe they will. Eh. So. Alright, come on. We're missing one card. Give me the card. It's probably Theater of Horrors. I had to guess. It's probably Theater of Horrors. Just cuz. Up to 25 viewers. Wow. Well, thanks, Josh. That's appreciated. Yeah, there's not... I've done some research. Like, as far as burn goes, now I could be wrong. Maybe you guys can correct me. Other than Nikachu's channel with Dryden, I don't know if there's too many, like, heavy burn content players out there. Like, I think it has the stigma of being this, this beginner's deck that, you know, has no skill, has no this and that. Now, there are certainly a lot of games with burn that you don't make a whole lot of decisions. You just kind of chuck your cards where they need to go and, you know, your opponent dies. But there are some games like, you know, even some of the practice matchups we were playing where the difference of, come on, man, trader, is one more card. All I need is that one more card, and we're good to go. Only been on 99% for like... Come on, man, traders, you can do it! Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, I watch a lot, like, some of Dryden's stuff, and some of his concepts I agree on, and some of it I just sit there and go, dude, why are you making those plays? I mean, like, his overall understanding of the archetype is pretty good, and he seems to know what he's talking about, but some of the, like, in-game plays I just go, groan. Like, I'm not going to path to exile this Crackling Drake while my opponent has no mana up. It's only a 5/4, what could it possibly do to me? Next turn it's an 11/4 killing him. Oh, that's what it can do. I'm like, should have killed it while you could. The problem with Dryden, he's playing too slowly. Oh, come on, mana traders. What is the one card that we're, like, waiting on that you don't have? Whenever it starts cycling like that, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna try restarting it. Sorry for the delay, everybody. It's just kind of one of those things. I usually borrow the cards before I start streaming or when I switch over streams just to avoid any dead time in content here. Uploaded a video over 3 hours. Who knows? Sometimes there's a glitch where it just, like, doesn't gather all the cards fast enough. Actually, I think that was Modern Miracles, Jan. I'm pretty sure that was Modern Miracles. Gucci makes 3 videos in that time. Very true. But Manguchi is also a almost dedicated legacy player. Torn between like this and normal burn. Alright, there we go. Finally, the cards have come for us to play. Morning, Midnight. How are you doing? The thing you gotta remember about all Magic players is every player plays at a different speed. Like, I tend to try to quicken my paces once I know a deck, because, especially control decks, because first off, I'm used to playing on Magic Online where you get punished for, you really get punished for playing slowly, especially with control decks. And second off, I just hate drawing. Like, I really hate unintentional draws. Just feel like Burn slightly more difficult in terms of paper sequencing the Skewer. It definitely is a little bit more difficult with sequencing. A few games are stuck on 2 lands, 1 spell, and I'll choose going long in case Skewer pops in. It's true at standard games you play faster than modern. I feel like I play faster in modern than I do standard, but I don't know. Could be wrong on that, Jan. You've watched my content. You probably have watched more of my content than even I have, so helps if I change the properties of this to all in. Actos. Burn. Alright, let's get rolling on some of these matches, shall we? That's what y'all are here for. You're all here for the burn spells, not for my witty charm. So, alright. Okay, sure. Sometimes that's what's practiced room. Like, oh, we're going to concede before the match even occurs. Like, sure. I really haven't looked too terribly much at standard yet, Jan. Between work, school, and so just got done working 6 days in a row. So this is my first day off since last Monday, and then combine that with having school Wednesdays and Thursday nights. I really haven't had the time to look at that and the wonderful 12 inches of snow we got over the weekend. Really haven't had time to sit down and like look at too much standard stuff. I've really just been focusing on the burn stuff for modern right now. I was going to get back into standard maybe this morning, but given the fact that burn is doing extremely well here on both channels, I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with burn for a little bit longer. We're on the draw, so I guess we keep us hand, but 3 lands in our 18 land deck. Oh, Tron. Some version of Tron, anyway. So, we'll find out if Light Up the Stage is worth it this game. Ooh, looks like they're going to natural us on 3. That's rough. Or not. Psych! Two lands we didn't want to draw anyway. don't know what's going on, but it's hilarious. Oh, okay, that explains a lot. We're up against unexpected results, Tron. I have a guy at my LGS that plays unexpected results. I should have played Shard Volley there. Oh well. But main deck timely reinforcements. Alright, let us go to the next game. Oh. Skullcracks. Skullcracks seem good. Searing Blazes seem terrible. You know what's amazing is despite the main deck timely reinforcements there, I think that's a good example of what this deck is capable of on its pretty good draws, but also at the same time running out of gas just before our opponent's dead. So in the same vein, we got to see both sides of the deck in the same game, which is kind of hilarious. And this is the kind of hand I don't like Shard Volley in. Only 2 lands, trying to leverage whatever we got going on. Maybe these gut shots shouldn't be in our deck either, but I don't know if we have any cards in our sideboard that we actually want over. I guess theoretically, Theater of Horrors would have been fine on the draw. Ugh. That sucks. Did I miss lethal because of gut shot and Shard Volley? Yeah, if I would have gone for Shard Volley plus gut shot, that would have been lethal, wouldn't it? Gah. Sorry, guys. It's definitely on me. We should have won this game. Hopefully they don't have another timely reinforcements here. My only question is, what did the burn players do in a past life to these last 2 opponents? Timely reinforcements out of unexpected Tron, and Circle of Protection red out of blue-white control. Yeah, we had game 2 there, but game 3, with our opponent having 1 billion timely reinforcements, we were probably not going to win game 3. Once again, Shard Volley looking very awkward. Alright, my opponent does realize they can't actually scry land to the top off that, right? See, the funny part is I don't know that Burn's position in the meta has actually improved all that much. Like, the same matchups that are still bad for Burn are still in the meta. Dredge is still there. Rock decks are still there. Oh, we're up against Storm. Alright, we're going to be in some rough shape here. Especially if they go for the kill here. Alright, they don't. Sweet. Would be nice if my deck would actually hand me lands. Oh, agreed there. See, these are the exact situations I don't like Shard Volley in. People wonder why I don't like the card Shard Volley. This game's a perfect example why I don't like Shard Volley. Honestly, I'd rather be playing Shock right now than Shard Volley. Like I said, that's results-oriented thinking. I understand that, but like if we'd had 2 lands, this game wouldn't even be a game, but and if we draw a land next turn, we can potentially kill them, so there is that. So opponent just going to nuke our board here. Looks like they're going for the nuke the board plan. Yeah, I agree, Jan, but in general, I don't like the card at all. I don't like the card at all. Brawl? It's kind of... And, like, what do I do here? Do I just Shard Volley, get him out of the way, and try to kill them? I mean, this is terrible. We know they have Ascension in hand. We know they have at least 1 Grape Shot in hand. Two cards on bottom. If that was their only mana dork, I don't know that playing out Baral there was the correct play. Now granted, we can't... Yeah, we're not winning this game. They're just going to natural us through. They have, like... Yeah, we're basically dead here. They can natural us through all that. Bring in the Eidolons. Take out these Searing Blazes. Do we want to take out... Actually, Searing Blaze and some number might be fine. Gut Shot's one of the cuts. And then... well... I'm going to bring in 2 Rakdos Charms. So Rakdos Charms hits their graveyard, and it hits their Empty the Warrens if they go for that plan. We gotta make 1 cut here. I'm leaving in 2 Searing Blaze because we do need instant speed answers to creatures. So. One lander, gotta keep it with this build. Yeah, they very well may never see it coming, which is the hilarious part. No one ever expects the Spanish Inquisition. Does anyone ever expect the Spanish Inquisition? They will never know. They get carted off with a bunch of religious fanatics and never get seen again. Debating on their keep here. End up keeping their 7. Lightning Bolt, possibly? Baral. Alright, I'm guessing we're going to get Lightning Bolted here. Yep, they're just shocked so they can cast Opt. Or are they just shocked to spook us? Alright. They're stuck on 1 land. That's... No, they're not stuck on 1 land. What am I thinking? So for those of you that wonder why I push my basic burn list to 8 to 20 lands, this is why. Because I hate not being able to cast my spells. Now, I understand Magic Online Shuffler kind of sucks, and that kind of stuff, but... Oh, most likely it's game. They could potentially have Remand here. And that is why we didn't Lightning Bolt or Lava Spike main phase. Well, they gave us the opening to kill them anyway, so... That's the advantage of being on burn and having creatures in play, is you can leverage and force them to react to what you're doing instead of vice versa. Not the best hand, but it has an Eidolon, so I think we keep. But there's obviously a very good chance they have an answered Eidolon. Why would you play out Electromancer here? Means they... one of two things. Either they're an amateur with their deck, or they have multiple mana idiots, and they're hoping to get us to waste a burn spell. So they're either exceptionally brilliant, or exceptionally... next leveling us. Grape shot here to kill the Eidolon. Wow. Are they going to try to go off for this? Or they have the grape shot now? Well, do we want to put out a land before we cast Light Up the Stage? Or do we want to play the land and fetch to thin for Light Up the Stage? If they had the Grape Shot... oh, they must have just drawn the Grape Shot off of the Manamorphose. Alright, well, they might be able to kill us here, so... depending on what their leftovers are. They have 2 cards left in hand. Oh. Well, hello there. We draw a Rakdos Charm just for funsies. Aww. But I wanted to kill them with the funsies kill. I didn't want to kill them the normal way. No, I don't think it was brave. I think that was their one opportunity to go off with our shields down, so they had to try to hope to hit the Nutter Butters there. So I really, really, really hate these shard volleys. Really, really, really don't like them. I'm trying to think if there's any card that I could reasonably play in that slot that I would not have to play that card. Light Up the Stage so far, it's been a fairly impressive card. Shard Volley, just not so much. Alright, we'll give it one more game. It just feels like that card's been consistently the one that I just sit there and I can't stand the card. Like, it says it's a one-mana card, but it's really like, this is the I have too many lands, my kill you card. I don't know. So, just want to thank everybody for hanging out this morning while we're waiting for our next our next mop to pop. Yeah, our next match to pop. I stream here on Mondays and Friday mornings, both on Twitch and YouTube, and throughout the week during the evening when I can. Been a little bit more difficult streaming in the evenings now with school coming up, or grad school back on the horizon here, at least for the next 8 weeks. Then we should be able to go back to streaming in the evenings more consistently. These one-landers, man. Definitely keeping it, though. Oh. Ponza. Yay. Most likely Ponza, anyway. Could be Devotion, too, I suppose. Still could be either deck, but more likely Ponza. So I'm going for the slow them down plan rather than the all-in damage plan. Because obviously we could do a ton of damage this turn. But I'm more interested in slowing our opponent's mana development down. Should have played Bump of the Night there. A little bit of a sequencing issue, but should have played Bump of the Night. Bloodbraid Elf, the Tireless Tracker, opponent punished for playing their land already. We're not going to attack with Swift Spear here. I'm just interested in keeping this back as a blocker. Because outside of an LD spell, they're dead next turn. Cracking Clue here. Yep. Now we're actually in a really rough situation. So where losing a land drop really hurts. Where Gut Shot would actually be lethal, ironically. Maybe I should have been more aggressive last turn. Bolted the Tireless Tracker and then attacked in. There's another tracker. Okay, there's another land. Yeah. Instead of playing Lava Spike. Yeah, it was probably the missequencing error there. Yeah, I should have played the bump instead of the lava spike. That was probably the game. It's kind of funny, the little sequencing errors in Burn that punish you. It's the little sequencing errors. Alright, that's game. Why wouldn't they put our mountain on the top of our deck? Oh. Bring in the skull cracks. Go down these shard volleys that I hate ever so much. Gut shot's pretty reasonable in this matchup as an answer against their various mana creatures. Thank you, Copite King, for the new sub on YouTube there. Sounds pretty good. We need to make sure we get Bump of the Night out of our hand next turn. Double Gut Shot's going to be a little awkward, though. Primal Command, alright. So we have till turn 5. Gut Shot for the win. Yeah, that's a fair point. You always want to get your red spells out of your hand first again, or your colored spells that aren't red out of your hand against Ponza. Damping Sphere? Really? Oh, it's a nice blood moon you got there. That's why we did our Skewer the... I was going to say, I swear if we get hit by Life Goes On... And yes, I've seen people play Life Goes On. Don't think we bring in any of these other cards. Some consideration for Theater of Horrors, but they attack our mana and... I mean, great hand against Ponza, right? Sounds fine. Guess we kept Riftbolt on top. Well, guess we know where our first spell is going, unfortunately. Alright, I mean, at least they're consistent. It is admittedly slowing us down. I mean, I will grant it that. It's not completely useless in this matchup, but it does feel a little out of place. Okay, just got a lot better. I guess if you're on a mana denial strategy, it is kind of a, and we can't play anything here. I mean, don't know what the thought process was there. If you have a bolt or a braid, you use it there, right? Not going to crack this fetch here. I want to try to keep my land density in my deck higher so I can draw a third land so I can start double spelling. This is why I hate playing against Ponza. Yeah. Yeah, we almost should have, Jan, shouldn't we? uh... Almost should have kept the original hand. So terrible, so terrible, yet so true. Alright, we'll give it one more go with this list before I kind of give any thoughts on the build. Give it one more thingamabobber here. Just a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please give us a follow here on Twitch or a subscription over on YouTube. Obviously, we're broadcasting to both simultaneously with Restream.io. Right now, we're trying a Rakdos build tweeted out by one John Whetstone. It's more of an all-in kind of deck. This is a hand I'm inclined to keep here. Earlier we were streaming regular Boros with some adjustments for Skewer. One of these days I'll get the name of the right card. Skewer the Critics. Might have been correct to just bump there to get in the extra damage this turn. Depends on what their interaction is this turn. If they have a discard spell, we might regret that. Sultai, huh? Interesting. It's possible, Josh. I'll get to my thoughts once this match is over, because I wanted to enjoy the clarity of what it's like to be a true modern player and have a turn 3 kill. But our opponent had to go and have an Assassin's Trophy. Why would you do that, opponent? That's so terrible. You know you're dead, right? I mean, I got this lightning bolt hanging out here. I couldn't cast that bolt. Well, I have bolt because, well, yeah. No, I didn't have lethal last turn because we didn't see that bolt until we were out of mana. So, Theater of Horrors. This is probably the kind of matchup we want that in. Eidolon might be okay against them. Certain blazes are probably pretty terrible. These gut shots probably don't have too many targets. Guys, that was turn 3 and I'd already hit all 3 land drops. Can't play a 4th land just because a spell says you can play something. Oh, right. I apologize. Yeah, you guys are right. You guys are right. Yep. Could have just bolted them and still had the turn 3 kill. Gotcha. Yep, that's correct. Man, the little things I'm missing today. Jeez. Thank you, everybody. Alright, anyways, back to sideboarding here. So, do I want Skullcracks or do I want Eidolons here? Yeah. Meh. Anywho. I'm not really sure what their deck's all doing over there, so just gonna kinda go a little bit goofy here. I mean, obviously they're a Sultai list, so they could have Tarmogoyfs, they could have that kind of stuff. So Eidolon's a little bit worse on the draw against that style of strategy. Theater of Horrors could be interesting this game if we draw it. This hand's pretty reasonable if this Monastery's Whisper lives. So, looks like we'll get at least one hit in with it. Eidolon. opponent to 18 or 19. Okay. I've had the same creeping tar pit forest opening twice in a row. Ooh, brutality's a little rough. This is with people playing Verasco Golgari Queen in Modern. This is like the second matchup we played against that's had Verasco Golgari Queen. They took the powerful Skewer the Critics. I'm gonna laugh if they like chalice us on one or something stupid here. Yeah, I next leveled you. I took your Skewer the Critics because I have a chalice on one. I don't even know what to say. Practice rooms? So my opponent basically paid 3 life to draw a card. Seems good. Okay, we're officially playing in the standard queue, and I just didn't get the memo. They can gain a life, which is not irrelevant off of that. Going to 4. Okay. Get rid of the Verdant Catacombs. I almost would have gotten rid of the clue there. Alright. No attacks with Eidolon here. Don't have that set up right now, Demi Eyes. I'll show it here in a minute. It's one of the problems with doing the... We're doing red-black because this is a more all-in list. I'll pull up the list here after the match. This is a list by John Whetstone that Joshua Unthank from YouTube shared with us. So, if it is, it is. I mean, I'm not claiming ownership over it. This is not my list. Wow. Opponent has a very unhealthy love for Verasco Golgari Queen here. Alright, we got a lot of draws that just kill our opponent here, so. And we're dead. Alright, so pull up the main deck list here quick, because we already have our sideboard plan. 4 Shard Volley, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Lava Spike, 3 Gut Shot, 4 Bump the Night, 4 Searing Blaze, 3 Light Up the Stage, 4 Rift Bolt, 4 Skewer the Critics, Swift Spear, Goblin Guide, 18 lands, and then the sideboard I just kind of. The only thing I'm not digging in the list is the Shard Volleys, but like I said, we'll get into that once this particular game is over. Guess I'd like to play first. Theater of Horrors looking really awkward in the sand because of only 1 land, but we're keeping it. Well, thanks for hanging out, Demi Eyes. It's greatly appreciated. Alright, so what do we got here? Wowzers, we're up to 17 people on Twitch. That's pretty impressive. So, 17 people on Twitch, 10 people on YouTube. Hey, YouTube, you guys need to pick it up over there. You guys are usually the ones that carry me. What the heck? Just kidding. I love my YouTubers. It's where I started out most of this channel from. Hopefully we draw some lands here. Sweet. So I just threw Theater of Horrors in here for funsies. But we may actually get to see it do some work this game. We'll see. Opponent looks like they're trying out all of their standard card of Seasons Past. Well, kind of sucks that we didn't draw a land off that, but at the same time, I feel like this game's probably over. Yeah, we would have gotten to go absolutely nuts next turn. So that was what, 4 or 5 matches with this list. So thought process with the deck. These cards, total trash. Do not like these Shard Volleys at all. Gut Shot feels like we should be running 2. That feels about the right number. Cards that impressed. Light Up the Stage was, in the games where we're churning through our hand and we're doing what we need to be doing, Light Up the Stage felt pretty good. I'm not going to lie there. My thought process is probably get rid of these 5 cards, bring in 3 Eidolons, add 1 more Light Up the Stage, and this is a little bit tricky here. If you're playing in paper, I think 18 lands is correct. If you're playing on Magic Online, because of how wonderful the Wizards of the Coast Shuffler is, I think you want to add a 19th land. So I think Red needed a one with Smoking Crack. See, I will admit, when I first saw this card, I wasn't thinking that it would be a good... I didn't think it would be good in Burn. I don't think it's good in Boros Burn, personally. But I think in this lower to the ground version with, like, Bump, Gut Shot, you know, Skewer, Rift Bolt, I think the card's insane. Like, okay, if I were playing, if I were playing in paper and I had access to Rakdos, this is probably what I would be running. This, you get 4 divinations, a bunch of just kill your opponent. Now, as far as the sideboard was, I threw together more as a joke than anything else. But, yeah. This list was kind of nuts. Like, someone else suggested, Gurmag Angler. I don't know that we need Gurmag Angler. No, it has 4 Goblin God. We have 4 Goblin God, 4 Swift Spear. Those are like the bare minimum creatures. We definitely need Goblin God in a list like this. Turns on Light Up the Stage. It turns on Skewer the Critics. Just having access to 4 Bump, 4 Lava Spike, and 4 Rift Bolt means we can main phase our Skewer the Critics more often with Monastery Swift Spear. And I really think Light Up the Stage is like... This is like the card that Burn has always kind of wanted. This feels like the card that Burn has always wanted against like the grindy decks, or we've run out of gas. Like, you know, a lot of people tried like Faithless Looting or stuff like that. Flame of Keld's come and gone. But man, this card's been exciting. Alright, I'm gonna go get another Light Up the Stage, and what else am I gonna get for the sideboard here? Probably get one more Light Up the Stage, and then... Nah, actually I think I'm gonna call it for now. I think this has been an awesome stream. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. It's been a blast. What's up, Space Marine? Oh, but Burn always needs card advantage, man. I think I'm going to call it a stream as far as Burn goes. I'm going to take a short break, probably 15-20 minutes. I'll be back later with something else that's not Burn, unfortunately. So, as awesome as it is for all you hanging out, I want to thank you all for hanging out this morning. If you're new to Twitch, please consider giving us a follow. You'll know when we go live. We're going to be streaming a lot of Monday and Friday mornings going forward. Definitely working on a lot of Burn. If you're over on YouTube, please give us a subscribe over there. Help us grow the channel over there. If you know anybody that enjoys Burn content or modern content in general, please spread word of mouth that this channel is pretty awesome. And beyond that, I want to thank everybody for hanging out today. It's been awesome. I'll be back definitely a little bit, well, probably in about 15-20 minutes, but it's probably going to be some standard of some type. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing yet. And then that'll be it for the morning. And I want to thank for my YouTubers. Thanks for being dedicated and following the channel. War Dog, Space Marine, kind of the OGs of some of the channel. Janchevik, so many others. Just want to thank everybody for hanging out this morning. It's been awesome. The stream has been lively, and I want to thank everybody for hanging out. And hope everyone has a great day. This has been Dusk for Dusk on Gaming, both on YouTube and Twitch.